So once again, I'll start na, no? While they're all coming in. I am an adolescent, and child psychiatrist. In the department, we have 5 child psychiatrists. I'm one of them. We do adult work also. So this lecture has been prepared by Dr. Joy Malinit, Joy Papa Malinit, and and I'm the mouthpiece for our department's lecture on for this year, the mouthpiece. The topic of our lecture is the pandemic and pediatric anxiety, mood, and psychotic disorders. So in children, you might be surprised that they do have they do have these illnesses also. Before it was thought of as wala, it's just behavioral problems, but towards the later part, even when I started my training in adult psychiatry, we did not have this classification for children. But it is also in the DSM-5 where you will find or read through, review maybe, these features that are also present in children. Okay? So, the beautiful slides have been prepared by Dr. Joy Malinit also. Okay. So, next please. I'll have Elaine, our department secretary, be my assistant for now, for this morning, as I always do. So what are the learning objectives of this particular lecture? To review the normal child development, the child development as it relates to psychiatric conditions, to discuss therapeutic tools in pediatric psychopathology, to identify community-related risk factors during the pandemic and the impact on child mental health, which we're all encountering the consequence of, the pandemic, to illustrate mental health red flags using case vignettes, to explain the mental health crisis and call for gateways and partnerships in mental health care. We find so many of them doing their own jobs in the field of education, social service, community development, pero kulang pa rin. And of course, the health practitioners. To cite also positive pandemic mental health outcomes in children and aim to build back better together. And that's where we are now. Okay, so before we go through the different conditions, we will start with the significant developmental or problems or circumstances relevant to our lecture today. I think we can connect to the lectures you had in normal development in your first year humanities subject. I think you remember your lectures there, the different stages of development first year. You do, right? Okay. So we talk normal there, the normal developmental stages, and at this point in psychiatry, we talk about conditions relative to the particular age group that the child is in. So if you say child, you're referring to the infant, to the child, middle childhood, and also adolescence, which is right about 18 years old until 18 years old. So you have 19, 20, that's transitional already towards adulthood. So you're winding down already to as you preparing for clerkship. So here goes anchor number 1. Next, please. There are normal developmental fears. Next, please. Okay. What are these normal developmental fears? And it is also parang side by side with the normal developmental stage that the child is in. Next. So the normal developmental fears would be from, as you see here, from birth to 6 months, loud noises, loss of physical support, rapid positional changes, rapidly approaching unfamiliar objects. Those that are referable to the sensory motor. 7 to 12 months, syempre mas matanda na. Strangers, looming objects, sudden confrontation by unexpected objects or unfamiliar people. So we're talking about triggers here, wherein the child may not be able to adapt so easily. If undiscovered or you don't see the red flags, it might lead to really pathologic conditions, which we will be discussing later. Age 1 to 5, strangers, nor strangers, norms, animals, the dark separation from parents, objects, machines, loud noises, the toilet, monsters, ghosts, insects, bodily harm. So we must be aware of these so that we will know how to help them adapt to it, not be the trigger or the factor on top of it that will make it even more serious. 6 to 12 years old, which is your middle childhood, supernatural beings, bodily injury, disease, burglars, staying alone, failure, criticism, and punishment. To 12 to 18 years, tests, exams in school, school performance. As you know, this is already high school towards senior high school, injury, appearance, peer scrutiny, athletic performance, and social embarrassment. Next. The second point is children may have imaginary friends in their early years. Yes, they do, and we don't make a mistake that when a child speaks by herself, that it's psychotic behavior already. Next, please. Now, 28 to 65% of children atras konto. After anchor 2. Next. Next. Okay. Let me just say this, 28 to 65% of children between the ages of 5 and 12 years of age report experiencing imaginary friends. Maybe you had your own. I had, which could be inappropriately misinterpreted as pathologic. So you have to mind this. Not children are not easily, you have to go through diagnostic and other associated features. Kasi minsan, ay, nag-hallucinate siya. Eh, parang ano pa, 4 years old, 8 years old. So you have to examine that very, very closely. That it is not necessarily pathologic. Anchor number 3. Back, please. Okay. Okay. Psychotherapy and pharmacotherapy are tools in managing pediatric psychopathology. Yes, we do the same. Was before we thought hindi binibigyan ng gamot yung behavioral problems ng mga bata. We just talk them out, do counseling. Yes, we do give medications for them. Okay, next please. Number 4, play to the child is what verbalization is all about. That is how they verbalize, they play, and we have to be mindful of that. It is the most exciting and it is the most communicative part of their stage, but it's not necessarily through words. Okay. Now, let's discuss play and tools. Next, please, Elaine. Okay. Play expresses what children cannot say through words. Feelings and attitudes that may be too threatening for the child to express directly can be safely projected through self-chosen toys. Ang favorite example ko dyan, for example, the child is brought to the dentist and made so scared of all the machines and all the grilling sound, and the seat itself and the big, large built dentist. So he suffers the fear and a bit of pain maybe. I hope that the pediatric dentist is kind, they're trained for that. So it becomes traumatic. Okay? So how does he loosen up about that? In play, you see him inviting his younger cousin or brother and makes him sit in a chair and pretends that he's the dentist and he tries to, drill him and all that. And then, syempre, nasasaktan yung kapatid, ganyan. So, parang, it's just play. But, you have to watch them do this also. Baka masobrahan. Baka totohanin, sasaktan yung ngipin or yung gums, etc. So, we allow them because that's how they recover from their own trauma. It's play. And you can imagine that and duplicate that in several other ways or circumstances when they're playing. We allow them to be rowdy because that's how it is yung mga baril, well, bawal na yung baril. Yung ganon, no? So, yung kunwari nagluluto, tapos that's how they show they imitate and all that. It's very interesting. But of course, we have much to talk about in this lecture and we have only. So next, please. This slide will show you how toys are used like words by children. So there you have one with a hammer, you have one with a cap, you have one with, so sari-saring mga laruan. Minsan yung mga laruan nila parang carton-carton lang. Minsan parang yung mga boxes ng mga Pringles, ganyan, yung containers na yun. So, we have to focus in this lecture that play is very important, not just for us adults, but also, most especially, for children, because that is, by the way, their first venue for communication. Play is children's natural language. Next. Next. A therapeutic working relationship with children is best established through this play. In doing psychotherapy or therapy for children, this is one of our most necessary needed tools. It's not just play as in psychoanalytic play, psychologically based play, but it's play activity itself also. Okay? What do I mean? Yung takbo-takbuhan, yung snakes and ladders, or baybahayan. Ang hirap isipin kung gadget play, no? But that's part of it. Okay, play therapy is a dynamic interpersonal relationship for the purpose of relieving the child's emotional stress. So minsan together with play therapy, there's drawing. Sometimes you play with the ball, you can play with whatever is available in the clinic that is age appropriate for the child. So in our clinics, we have mga toy kitchen, mga games, board games also. We also have a bat, toys exactly that you use elsewhere, but in our clinics. Remember, dapat age appropriate. Dollhouse is a very important tool in play therapy. Okay, the therapist facilitates the development of a safe relationship for the child to fully express and explore himself, his feelings, his thoughts, his experiences, and behavior. Though play it's also used for optimal growth and development. It's part of their natural development. A helping interaction between a child and a trained therapist in play therapy procedures provides selected play materials. So minsan nag-observe lang kami, tinitingnan namin kung ang next move niya. Minsan in a group play, you can see the dynamics. Ito pala, siya yung talagang introverted or less assertive. So baka siya yung kandidato na ibubuli nito. Ito comes from a family where it's an only child, so it's the tendency to be more the leader type and more possibly the more assertive one. Let's not call them bullies yet, okay? Kandidato siguro pag hindi napansin ng pamilya at napapabayaan, no? So, play therapy is done for emotional and behavioral problems. It's almost like a permanent tool in our work. There are play therapists who are actually trained to just do this. We have one in our department, that's Dr. Joy Malimit. That's why maybe you see the beautiful slides here of her. This is also for Children with delayed language and play development, sobra. There are probably speech pathologists and therapists in the group, in the audience. So you know what I'm saying? And many of them also go to med school, kaya kinukulang talaga ang speech pathologist sa mga speech pathologists sa bansa. So it will be the one to make the child communicate with the therapist. So you allow the quiet, you allow the rapport, you allow the orderliness in the environment. And then some of our kids who are troubled, talaga sobrang gulo ng play nila. Ang hirap intindihin. Minsan may bata na pinapalo niya yung kapatid, yung isang doll na gano'n, may doll, tapos play pretend would be like pinipinch niya o kaya sinisigawan niya o minsan ginagamitan niya ng kutsilyo. So you'd wonder, bakit ganito yung play ng batang to? Nakakabahala, di ba? It's so worrisome. So if the theme is constant and repetitive, then that's an alarm. I mean, that should raise an alarm already. But sometimes that's subject to interpretation also. So sad themes do not necessarily mean a sad story. It also means if the theme is consistent and repetitive and persistent. So you can also ask the you just say, you put the doll there because you don't fill in the blanks for them. You help them try to express themselves, especially those who are verbally adept children already. So it also is used for social integration. You know, you use that in play. So parang ayaw mag-participate ng isa, tapos you'll ask the other child, where is ganon? And then, okay, you lead the other child to pull him over and then to be part of and then you'll also see in play, sino ba yung parating bida? Sino yung parating ito nagbibigay ng rules? Sino yung nag-change ng, hindi ganito yan. Dapat, so makikita mo yung sumusunod. Kita mo yung give-upper, they'll just stay behind. I don't want to join, so I'd rather be with teacher, ganyan. Or with the other therapist. So it also enhances parental and child caring interaction. And it is also part of an ongoing assessment. Play is also a part of assessment. So you can see the dynamics as they move about in their interaction with either a therapist or another child or even with their toys. Okay. Ano ba ang kasali sa play therapy toolkit? Sand tray, yung sandbox. Baka nagtampisaw kayo sa sandbox nung bata kayo. Or maybe you can use the whole beach. Okay. Some of our therapists bring their children on a field trip or excursion with the parents, and they do that. Of course, that has to be within bounds of control to address safety or security matters. Puppets. Sobrang cute, di ba? And then you start to make like that, and because it's so cute to the children also, they interact with the puppet. So if they don't talk to you directly, indirectly, you know that they communicate because you used your puppets. Art, that's why puppets were made. Art, also drawing, ganyan, meron kaming coloring book or meron kaming free space, empty, from, like maybe cotton bonds or yung canvas, yung maliliit lang naman na or yung magic slate na parang they can draw and all that. So you also have to be very creative. And train. Play, musical instruments, dance movement, play can also be part of this. Of course, creative visualization and therapeutic stories. Storytelling is very, very effective for children. Talagang miski na minsan paulit-ulit. They want more pa. Again, mom. Again, teacher. Or again, doctora. Ulit-ulit. So, there. So that's when they also make their choices. I like this better. Their priorities for which friend they want to be with, whoever friend they want to be with. Next, please. Medyo mahaba ito. So what are their fears? The fear of death, of relatives, changed family life, you know. So someone leaves, separations, yaya leaves, another yaya takes over. No one tells her that previous yaya is going. The next morning, asan si yaya? Ah, lumipat ng school, lumipat ng bahay, or there's another family, they don't know, may kapatid pala, mga ganyan. So, many, many scenarios. Economic crisis, you understand? Used to study here, have to change schools, baon ganito, ngayon parang tinitipid. Loss of support systems, lost play, and lack of social stabilization. Well, what we see in our country, the destabilizing social circumstances of our country. It may fall into the, you know, the close family circumstances or events. Next, please. Community-related risk factors for mental health. These are social relations confined to family members, restricted access to peers, no friends, always staying at home for security. You have to strike a balance. No? Hindi naman pwedeng nakakulong yung bata because you're sure that he's safe. He has to be accessible. You have to make it accessible for the child also to go out with friends. So what we would advise, kung mga mommies, magkakilala, yung mga children nila, pwedeng mag-picnic. Uso pa ba yun? No, but uusuhin natin. Go to a park together. So, inactivity-based therapies or friendships or social relations. So, it's always good to have the same interests with children, and that's a very nice, positive way of them socializing. Limited leisure time activities. These are also risks. Aral-aral, school stress, 8 years old, 10 years old, school stress na. Pwede na pag medical school. Pwede na yung school stress 10 times over. Pero for children, parang, already. And many of them, on their own, as they go through middle childhood, even if parents say, and in high school, okay lang anak, okay lang, don't have to be number one. Pwede na, yung iba nga, basta pumasa ka lang anak. You know what? They have their own line of thinking already. I have to maintain my grade, and it's themselves pressuring them. There's a group of families na ganun with children like that. School closures and lockdown. So here comes COVID. Sobrang effect ng COVID sa lahat ng tao, lalong-lalo na with the children. Stigmatization of infected children and families. There was a lot of those, you were already part of that milieu na nagbago lahat. Maybe you were still in pre-med, or some of you in fourth year. So yeah, pre-med. Sobrang, you still remember those times. Okay. Luckily, in our department, Dr. Joy Malinit has authored 2 play books, the title of which is Gong and Her Magic Compass, Advertisement, Butterfly with Crumpled Wings. It's a very thin, few pages lang. It's so much telling of a story of a child, of children who were weak at birth but were able to overcome. And, of course, the characters were turtles, animals, and, it's very interesting that through her work, this has been the product of play therapy and its effects in our work. That's why we use this as tools also in our storytelling. In fact, me, I bought so much, I gave it to my lolas, malola na. And so it helps. It really does. Ulit-ulit yung kwento. And many of these, I know you've had your turn when you were children also. Nabasahan ba kayo ng stories ng mga nanay niyo or mga ate? O tatay, pwede. Of course, some of you maybe are parents already. You may do this with your children, your nephews, your apo. No, not apo. Kapatid ng mga anak ng mga kapatid niyo. Next, please. Okay, these are therapeutic stories. No, they create a therapeutic objective and they facilitate the healing process of problems children may experience. What we're trying to say is not always like So, kamusta na yung anak niyo? Anong nangyari? And then, after that, you talk to the child. What are you feeling? What happened? Tell me your story. What are you going to do next time if this happens? That too is important. But these two are helpful, very helpful. So, next, please. Uh-huh. So, this is a study to address our objectives. This study exemplifies what happened and what has happened to us in the pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic has had a large and uneven impact on global mental health. The cases of mental disorders obviously rose sharply during the pandemic. And we noticed that after that, a lot of parents recognized that their children really behave differently, had different ways of um, addressing stress. They got into the gadgets so severely invested, and it was so hard to, and but sabi nga, so nauso yung online, some people didn't want face to face, and then when post pandemic, children got so used to online, the grading system was adjusted to how to assess our students also. So there were really more negatives than positives, if I may say, more negatives than positives. So, major depressive disorder, anxiety disorders also rose. If you see that bar diagram on your left, and then above on your right, if it's clear to you, the younger people were hardest hit. So you can see age 25, sobrang taas, up to a rise of there. You can see that the major depressive disorders and for your anxiety disorders also. Down below, there were increases. The increases were higher among females than males, as exemplified by this illustration. The disorders that were studied were mostly major depressive disorder and anxiety disorders. Sobrang dami ng pathology. And maybe some of you had a few problems, however, able to overcome, not just with adults. Ang talagang hardest hit were the children. Next, please. Let's talk about the sad or irritable child. The sad or irritable child is someone who's bored, irritable, anxious, or feels hopeless. They withdraw from friends and isolates from family when at home. So we're not necessarily talking about pathology here. The sadness was exemplified by wearing black clothes, writing dark poetry or bleak social media posts, preoccupation music that has nihilistic or morbid themes. I remember very particularly, talaga one or two. Ang drawing niya, nakahang yung siya pabaliktad. Siyempre, o normal na yung parang yung by the neck. So, that's really alarming. So, you have to address that. You have to process that very slowly. And it can help because what the child doesn't say means he's denying it. And when you begin to deny, even for adults, you believe it didn't happen. So, if you don't own it as yours, you don't know where to start with yourself and so with the child also. So processing it, talking about it with someone, with a therapist, with a professional, someone whom you trust, maybe their parents, that can be a very good beginning, even before the child is brought to a therapist. Okay, next please. So to continue, a sad or irritable child would be seen or exemplified by these features. Sleep is disturbed and the child stays awake all night watching shows, has difficulty sleeping, or getting up for school and sleeps during the day, so hypersomnic or insomnic. They lack motivation, resulting in skipped classes. They're unable to welcome and to concentrate, and they have lowered grades. They lack appetite or compulsively eats and may eating ng eating or not eating. Its extremes, rebellious behavior, alcohol or drug use, and promiscuous sexual activity for the teenagers, somatic complaints or chronic fatigue sa parating pagod, parating nangangati, parating parang lugo-lugo, ganon. Parating nakahiga, preoccupation with death or dying, very morbid. What are the red flags? Next, please. Actually, they talk about suicide or plans for this. So there's no other time, especially this time where there's all high time statistics for self-hurting, cutting, hanging, suicide attempts, etc., and suicides also. It's not in the news, but it's happening. Even for children aged, my youngest I think is 8 years old, almost, you know, it may be difficult for us to listen to this. I'm just being sensitive about everyone's, how you are receptive to this or quite unreceptive. It's all right. You may step out if this is difficult for you to listen to. But for the purpose of this topic, we have to go through this. Okay? They seek out ways to harm or kill oneself. Really, they know how to plan. They are able to buy which medications, paracetamol to this day is among the highest that children use. They read about it. They talk about it in school. Okay, so we must really be proactive, vigilant, expressing statements like, I'm going to kill myself, I want to die, I wish I were dead. If someone falls on me, it's better if I don't wake up, I'm all right. Being preoccupied with death in conversations, writings, or drawings. So we have to read through. Well, they are also entitled to privacy. So an open communication with your siblings, with children, parents, and alike. I mean, that's the key to this, but that's difficult to achieve because most children are who are hurt. It's very difficult for them to open up. And many of our parents come in saying, "Hindi nag-o-open up, doktora. Ayaw magsabi." So we ask, bakit kaya? Baka minsan nag-open up, but then, it was very difficult for the mom to listen. And so she had some negative inputs, and the child, even us, we remember these. Teenagers, they're so sensitive to this. Their trust is so important. So trustworthiness to parents, caregivers, ates, titas, the older ones. That's very important. Giving verbal hints with statements like, I won't be a problem for you much longer. Nothing matters. It's no use. I won't see you again. So remember your questions. You have to zero in on, are there times when you feel helpless and hopeless? Are there times when it's difficult to you to do this and that? And then you say, do you feel so bad that sometimes you'd like to just not wake up anymore? So maybe I can ask you these hard questions. Are there times that you actually wanted to end your life? Because some of them might not be intentional about it, but they end up because, when they change their mind, it was too late. But you'll never know that. So which watch out for clinical depression, which is pathologic depression. Okay. Depressed mood, diminished interest, or anhedonia. So these are two quick test questions to go through that. Feeling sad, feeling low, feeling helpless. Did you lose interest or pleasure in the things that you usually like to do? Before ba you wanted to play soccer? Why how come mom is saying that parang I don't want to eat, I don't want to do soccer, I don't want to go out, I don't want to join the malling anymore. So yung mga ganon, they are already, and of course you can't diagnose naman by a single symptom. We don't know that already. We know that already clinically as would be doctors. So it's a symptom complex all the time. So this is actually discussing DSM-5 in very simple terms. So what are the 4 hallmarks of major depression? Depressed mood, anhedonia, 4 physical symptoms, which means weakness, loss of appetite, easily tired, other anxiety symptoms. Also maybe could be equivalent to major symptoms, depressive symptoms. Because, many of our Many of us who easily get depressed are the symptoms would appear as easy to be anxious. And when you're always anxious, you get so negative, then it can lead you to depression, so vice versa. So you need three psychological symptoms. We'll go further down later to talk about that. For diagnosis, you at least need 5 of 9 symptoms that you see in your patient. And the symptoms must be present. I think you know this by now, most of the time for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Depressed moods hallmark can be asked this way. Are you depressed? But that cannot be sufficient anymore for diagnosis because that just doesn't take one question. You have to take the whole history also. Diminished interest would be loss of interest or pleasure in things about what you normally enjoy. So kung dati gusto mong magganito, makipag-date, even, or well, let's talk about children, where I forget, they like to eat this, they like to play, so parang nababawasan. So those are already red flags. Maybe the most important and useful hallmark would be this: loss of interest in the things that they used to want to do. Okay. Now, the physical symptoms, as I said, would be these: sleep disturbance, appetite or weight change, low energy or fatigue, psychomotor retardation, and agitation. So I have to go a little bit faster. The psychological symptoms would include low self-esteem or guilt, poor concentration, persistent thoughts of death or suicidal ideation, and they may have a plan for their going, and some of them do attempt, some of them complete that attempt. Next, what are the 9 signs of sadness turned into serious? A, look at that column: appetite or weight change, sad, sleep, you have insomnia or hypersomnia, anhedonia, and dysphoria. The phases would be showing fatigue, agitation, and retardation. Yeah, you do have cognitive symptoms when you're depressed, di ba pa? Memory, blanco, ha? Mga parang hindi nagko-connect. Attention span is short. You know, uh, you're, you're, uh, you're easily distracted kasi may dinadala ka, hindi mo pa hinaharap. Denial can do this to us. It will prolong. But readiness to not deny is also another story. It takes a long time for most. Low self-esteem, confidence is notably parang bumabagsak. Parang I can't do it. Parang I can feel that I'm magaling naman, pero parang I can't do it anymore. So we listen to the child who says this. Overwhelming guilt, inappropriate guilt, I'm the one, it's my fault. Pessimism, negative thinking, suicide thoughts, or death. Now, we have a disclaimer here because these are the next slides which show us parang presentation ng isang organization. Next, please. The Philippine Obstetrical and Gynecologic Society. We chose this to make you see how simply it can be presented to laymen and even co-doctors. Okay? So, in major depressive disorder, merong tinatawag na si Lulu Malumbay, matinding lungkot, nawalan ng gana sa buhay, tinagalog, para easily acceptable and friendly to the community. Matinding pagkabalisa or restlessness, inattentive, laging walang lakas, walang kumpiyansa sa sarili, ang lalim ng Tagalog, naisip o tangkang magpakamatay. So yun yung medyo mahirap talaga i-ano. But do not forget, even to children, age level appropriate lang yung communication. We can ask this question, but your timing should be right. When do you know that? It comes with training. Okay. But kung hindi kaya, syempre mahirap pasukin yon. So there. Kung maranasan ang mga ito, humihingi agad ng tulong. O pwede mong i-bring up dun sa nakikita mo na mother o friend mo, parang ano siya, you're already in a position, you're already third year, so we know what we're talking about. We've had lectures on anxiety already, basic and management for adults. We also watch out for bipolar depression. Bipolar condition is one way of the patients expressing their sadness. It's not always unipolar depression. Unipolar depression is marked by slowness in thinking, withdrawal, crying, isolating themselves. But that's not all. When they overcome this deep sense of loss and guilt and withdrawing, sometimes they overcome this by saying, I'm okay naman, I'm cute naman. See, I'm gonna buy these things, I'm the boss. So they start with, I'm gonna fight this out, I'm gonna get angry. Of course, it's not conscious. And they become externalizing symptoms. And you see it here. Depressive symptoms on the left, it's more internalizing. And then on the right, you see the hypomanic manic symptoms. You know, your bipolar 1 and 2. You've been lectured already on bipolar conditions. The children are irritable, they're elated, euphoric, they're over-involved. Parang, ang daming gustong gawin. Hyperthinking. Doctor, I'm overthinking, overthinking, overthinking. So even our kids, our teenagers go that way. They like more action. They like to be involved in many things. They start something, but they don't finish it. They buy so many stuff and they want to, just move about. They're also mood swinging. They're easily aggressive. They talk, they're hyper. So parang may nakikita kang konting pagbabago sa personality nila. So there. So next page, please. Next, please. So this is bipolar depression. You look at your left, it's talking about depression. Can you read that quietly with me? And then on your right, you see the overcoming of depression by being by the patients externalizing. Even with children, it does happen. Expansive or irritable mood, hyperactive, excessive involvement. So this is a repeat of our previous slide. So ito yung natutunan ninyo sa inyong preceptorship already. Did fast. Diba? Distractibility, memorize, indiscretion or inhibition, grandiosity. I'm so good looking, kaya ko yan. Kayang-kaya ko yan. Pero parang nagdudusa pala without her knowing it unconsciously inside her. Flight of ideas, activity increase, sleep deficit, decreased need of sleep. When you're bipolar, you don't sleep and sleep, okay? But when you're depressed, you either go hypersomnic or insomnic and talkative. So next, please. So there are a few of these illustrations or presentations. Next, please. By the Pogs. Elaine? Ayan. Yan. Tinagalog ang bipolar mood disorder, si Pedrong Paling-Paling. Okay, so this is a presentation of the SM5, our past slides in Tagalog. Thank you to the Pogs. Okay, that's part of their educating mothers of children and the community. And this is about Elsang Balisa, who exemplifies the features of an anxiety disorder. Mayayamutin, hindi mapakali, pagod, sobrang nag-aalala, sobrang hindi makafocus. So, you have the emotional, physical, and psychological and cognitive features of anxiety shown here. Diba? Hindi, sobrang, parang hindi rin sila nakakapag-focus. So, let's not all call focus problems or attention problems ADHD. Although those are part of a developmental problem in children. So, si Totong Alborado, ang in-exemplify nito, si Toto, ay ang disruptive mood dysregulation disorder. I read this is a severe, recurrent temper outburst or outbursts manifested verbally, with rages in children. Imagine this child, and or behaviorally physical aggression towards people or property that are grossly out of proportion in intensity or duration to the situation. The temper outbursts are inconsistent with the developmental level. Sobrang magagalitin. Temper outbursts occur on average 3 or more times per week. So wow, kaya dysregulated siya. D, disrupt disorder. Statistics with children like this would be bipolar disorder. So you also remember GAD, generalized anxiety disorder, si isang nervyosa. So please go through GAD. You see that in children also. Also, this you see in children. You know, malamang sa malamang ito yung mga children na prone or vulnerable to have generalized anxiety disorder or even panic disorder or mixed anxiety disorders. So yan, no? May mga bata, di ba normal naman when they're first day or first week of school, they're really like that. But when you push them away or, you know, like, oh, iwanan na kita, umiyak pa na gano'n, parang imbes na nakakatulong yun, parang hindi. So it's one of the emergencies in psychiatric work. You really have to do this day by day. How do we treat them? First day, pwede sa gate ka muna, mama. Ganyan. O, mga 2 to 3 weeks, pwede bang pumasok si mama in the classroom, tapos outside the classroom, hanggang, so children will keep looking and looking outside. Nandiyan ba si mama? Nandiyan ba si mama? You know? And then suddenly, the mother is somewhere out pala and parang dumiskarta lang para sayang yung time. Nagpunta lang sa nag-grocery. Pagkita, nako, wasak na naman. We have to start from the bottom. That's of course with the kindness or the care of the school also. They have to mind that these conditions are part of first, developmental normal, no, not normal, developmental, and it can be certainly pathologic and into adulthood. So now you know how they become when they're adults already, because we discussed adults with anxiety disorders. Okay, ito naman si Thomas umiiwas. Yung mga batang alam yung sagot pero hindi nagre-raise ng kamay. Yung pag merong group discussion, ayaw manguna. O pag you know, like oral reading, declamation, di ba? Lahat naman, pinapractice tayo. So, wow, you know, they avoid and they don't want them being seen as nervous kasi kukutsain sila, di ba? Kawawa naman si Thomas. Okay, panic disorders. You know what panic attacks are? So, Nikki, panicky. But you know, in statistics, it's very difficult talaga to get a clear check, good full diagnosis of children with panic disorders. Why? Because they haven't had enough experiences in their childhood for them to have this big dynamic problem, psychodynamic problem about the fears that they're going through. Meron, pero statistics are kind of low. We were thinking of doing a study on that for this particular medication, but you know, we had to, it folded down because wala kaming enough patients with that diagnosis. Next would be selective mutism. Let me go through this. Okay, the DSM-5 says it's a consistent failure to speak in specific social situations in which there is an expectation for speaking, like in school speaking engagements or situations. Another would be the disturbance interferes with educational or occupational achievement or with social communication. And this disturbance should be at least seen for a month. So this is also very, oh, mali ito. Change, please. Next. Yan. Selective mutism. There. This is very difficult, one of the most difficult conditions in children to address. We have these kids, they don't just elect, you know, I don't want to talk, but they select. So it's really a long time period when they're in school, tuloy, hindi na talaga nagsasalita. But when they're at home, they talk. They have already learned the facility of communication by speaking, but that's what happens. Okay. So this is another book authored by Dr. Joy Malinit, another theme that says even children weakened by their, natural vulnerabilities can fly high. The bird that couldn't sing. Ang cute naman, ano? So we watch out for psychotic disorders also. You know what psychotic disorders are? Schizophrenia, etc., briefly active psychosis, etc., and also psychotic disorders due to drugs or medical conditions. So these are the hallmarks: hallucinations, delusions, loosening of association. But it's very difficult for us to diagnose a child, maybe teenagers with schizophrenia. So ito na naman yung illustration ng fogs. May naririnig, naamoy, nakikita. Alam niyo na yon, 'di ba? Yung hallucinations, the sensual perception of uh, the person or the child. Very difficult also to find frank symptoms of psychosis in children. But there are as they get older. Yan. Yan ay si Enzo, may bumubulong sa kanya. Okay, so next please. This is the summary of our vignettes or examples of children with these conditions. Next, please. Oh, we have a journal here, meta-analysis, and the result is, it's saying that overall, the prevalence of depressive symptoms and anxiety symptoms systematically in this study was higher compared to pre-pandemic prevalence in the same population, in the similar population. So evidently, mental health screening and intervention should be up priority for universities, college, and schools in pediatric population. So, yun ang isa sa mga studies, a big one, post-pandemic. So, this is a state of emergency. Next, please. Actually, so mental health is also, because totoo naman. And the child psychiatrists, to name a few, the child and adolescent psychiatrists were just only about 70 or so, maybe 80. Okay? Next, please. To meet the other objective, we have a call for gateways and partnership in mental health care. You, us, can be the gateway and advocate partner. Even at third year, because, it's not really like only taught in med school. We can already be part of identifying the red flags. Maybe some of you would want to go to psychiatry, or many of you, and maybe do adolescent medicine. That's a subspecialty in pediatrics. We can be the gateway and advocate partners of our children beleaguered by mental health problems. Were there beneficial outcomes for mental health from the pandemic? Yeah, there are some bright spots. Next, please. Were there beneficial outcomes for mental health from the pandemic? Next. Yeah, there are some bright spots. Inulit lang. So, what are these? Done by a study by UNICEF in 2021. Increased quality time for family members. So, naging conscious na. Ang dami ng patients ng psychologist ngayon at saka ng child psychiatrist. Believe you me, psychiatrists in general. Even our students, even in the population, parents, children in particular, sobrang, we could never imagine, worldwide, globally. There's a respite from exam stress and school-related bullying. Merong rest period even in elementary schools and in high schools. There are gap years that some of you maybe took, or some of you, well, maybe not, mahirap ng mag-gap year sa med school, hahaba lalo. So may tinatawag na gap year, and the schools allow yung rest period, hindi lang yung semestral break. Yung meron talagang every quarter, and even among I guess students, like, and even among our residents or trainees, it has also helped. And in children also, we're now kinder, and people are beginning to come, and even children, they like to be seen by professionals. And they themselves say, I asked my mom to bring me to a psychiatrist, and they know what a psychiatrist is. So more flexible schedules, they have more time for oneself, and they are already, beginning to be taught how to improve their coping skills. So building back better, we build forward better. Next. And so there, next. So I guess at this point in time, we reviewed what we already had in adult. I mean, in particular, the major psychopathology conditions. And just go through them if you want to remember or review the particular symptoms. It also applies with the children. Something that's new would be exemplified in children, which are the DMDD, selective mutism, and separation anxiety disorders. Next, please. There. These are the references. So, okay, what time is it? That brings me to an end, and that brings me to the time when, even if it's really a big topic, and you have to apply it to children. Remember, with children, tatlong classifications yan. Normal. Normal is very wide. Within the normal, medyo marami na rin diyang pag hindi mo napansin, baka maging pathologic. Okay? Like, dapat at 3 years old, ganito na. Tapos na yung thumb sucking sa 2 years old, maybe many things, especially in adolescence, that it is time for turmoil and all of that. Okay, and then you also have the developmental disorders, which I think were discussed to you. ADHD, cognitive disabilities, and ASD, which is so diagnosed. Statistics have changed already. And you have which I'm discussing, psychotic disorders, depression, bipolar, and anxiety disorders. Now, do you have any questions? If those who are still possibly able to, to digest what we talked about, may I open the floor for questions? Anybody? Hello, Mr. Fabro. I know it's lunchtime. Hello, Mr. Ramos. Baka may tanong kayo. Pwede bang sa president or representative ng klase, whoever is systematically the one going to handle this, we will gladly answer your questions. Okay? Meron pa bang tao? Alay?
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay.
106 pa po sila.
Sige. Pwede siguro isulat dito sa chat kung talagang or maybe, I'm here. You can look for me in the department. Or paano kaya kung may tanong kayo? Too much, too many to digest and simmer and formulate your questions? Were our examples good enough? Hello? Maybe some of you are thinking. So siguro, next slide, Elaine. Just to say thank you. Next. May
Ma'am,
pa-thank
yan na
you
po yung last page.
wala ba yung pa-thank you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much. You just send your questions in whatever means through our department. Okay, bye-bye. Nakikita pa ba ako?
Thank you, Doc.